A tale of two policies on same-sex marriage. Exhibit A.
We should just get on and have a vote on marriage equality.
Sounds simple enough. Now, Exhibit B.
I will be giving a notice in the Senate today of a motion to restore that plebiscite bill back to the notice paper and to recommence, to revive the second reading debate in relation to that bill.
It's complicated.
The Treasurer will be directing the Australian statistician.
It's curly.
Under the Appropriations Act, the current Appropriations Act passed by the Parliament, there is what is called a Finance Minister's Advance.
It's convoluted.
Furthermore, the ABS, under its legislation, is able to enter into an arrangement with other Commonwealth entities in relation to the secondment of officers to the ABS.
Let's just leave that there and break this down. First, the government will push for a compulsory plebiscite, or people's vote, to be held on November 25. If, as expected, that's rejected again by the Senate, ballot papers will be sent out to every household in Australia on September 12. Each registered voter will have the option of voting by post, with ballots to be returned by November 7. On November 15, a result will be declared. If it's a no, the matter ends there. If it's a yes, Parliament will have its say in the final sitting fortnight before Christmas. To mitigate the risk of a constitutional challenge, the postal vote will be conducted by the Bureau of Statistics, which runs the census, not the AEC. A mechanism last used in 1974 when a phone survey was conducted to help decide on a national anthem.
Advance Australia fair.
Strong leaders carry out their promises. Weak leaders break them. I'm a strong leader.
Perhaps, but he left it to his minister to reveal the cost on camera.
And the cost is
$122 million.
Or, as Labor pointed out, 1,900 teachers, 16,000 childcare rebates, or 10 years funding for a domestic violence hotline. Bill Shorten says the coming campaign will be ugly.
Why is the Prime Minister making Australians pay $122 million to give licence to this vile rubbish?
We're not going to shut down democracy and debate because people here or there say outrageous things or defamatory things. We have a robust democracy.
And at the end of it all, MPs still won't be bound to follow the will of the people. Do you think MPs should be bound by the result?
Yes, I do, David, and I'll certainly be bound by the result, and I think my colleagues should be as well.
A group of Conservative MPs are now calling for everyone in their party, supporters and opponents of same-sex marriage, to tie their vote in Parliament to the result of the postal plebiscite. In the party, there are some members, though, I believe, who would never accept being bound because they feel too strongly about it. What do you say to them?
Well, I'd say to them that we shouldn't frustrate the passage of legislation through the Parliament which the Australian people have asked for.
So, once again, hemmed in by ideologically driven infighting and outplayed by Labor, the government has tied itself in knots to deliver a policy that very few people want. But there is at least one good reason. As one minister told Lateline, pretty much the only feather left in the Prime Minister's cap is that he hasn't broken any big promises, and they want to keep it that way.
we all know what happens to governments that break their promises. We all remember Julia Gillard's "There will be no carbon tax under the government I lead," and how she broke that promise and what followed. Now, we have made a very clear commitment here, and we are sticking with it.
It also provides him some higher ground over his predecessor, who said in 2013,
"No cuts to health, no change to pensions, no change to the GST, and no cuts to the ABC or SBS."
And now proclaims,
"Politicians have got to say what they mean and do what they say. Keeping commitments is the first law of politics these days."
It's another big roll of the dice for Malcolm Turnbull and others in his government pushing for change.
My prediction, and it's only a prediction, is that in the plebiscite, whichever of the two forms it takes, more people will vote yes than no.
But there's even more at stake for those told they can't legally marry and those offended by the prospect. All will be clear by Christmas.